and welcome to the 2020 State of the Student Body Address. My name is Bethany Valente, and I'm an Associate Communications Officer for Student Government of Loyola Chicago. I'm a sophomore, creative advertising major, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Today we're going to hear from a variety of SGLC members. First, I'm going to pass it off to President Drescher and then Speaker Kaylee O'Brien, who will talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, how our organizational goals came to be, and our commitment to you. We hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Maddie Drescher and I serve as the President of the Student Government of Loyola Chicago, or the SGLC. The SGLC is an organization of about 50 elected and appointed representatives for undergraduate students. We're a recognized body within Loyola's shared governance system, providing student representation to the University Senate and the Board of Trustees. It's our mission to voice the concerns of the student body by advocating for and often drafting student-centered university policies, acting as a conduit to communicate student concerns to Loyola's administration, and by allocating funds to registered student organizations. The State of the Student Body Address is an event that SGLC has held in the past as a way to engage directly with our community and our constituents. It was intended as a way to share, as your representatives, what we seek to accomplish both this year and long-term into the future, contextualized by the current state of our community. Despite our remote situation, we still felt it important as your elected representatives to be communicative in what advocacy and initiatives we are pursuing, because so many of them are informed by our remote situation and the well-being and experiences of students now 8 months into a still worsening global pandemic. Our goals are informed by the acute uncertainties of being an international student, a first-year student, or a soon-to-be graduate, for example, during this pandemic. Our goals are informed by the systemic racial injustice and police brutality that plagues our communities, and inspired by the Black Cultural Centers in support of Black students' action items, and by the student advocacy and protesting of our streets LUC. We acknowledge that these are just a few of the many stressors that we know students to be facing right now. With a national election around the corner and a climate crisis that continues to threaten our generation and those to come, we are students alongside all of you, experiencing these stressors with you. But we're also your elected representatives, and we felt it to be more important than ever to share openly what we have been actively advocating for on behalf of students and the work that we still seek to accomplish. We're working completely remotely this year, but we remain a resource for students. Our medium has changed, but our mission has not. Thank you for joining us in this virtual State of the Student Body Address. I'm going to turn it over to Kaylee O'Brien, SGLC's Speaker of the Senate, to speak more on our organizational goals.
Hello, as Maddie just said, my name is Kaylee O'Brien, and I serve as SGLC's Speaker of the Senate for this academic year. So SGLC has decided this year to create organizational goals, mostly because we feel they offer a really good sense of direction for all of our members. And although many of our goals, as you'll probably see in a moment here, seem to be very large, very overarching, they represent what we want to work towards not only this year, but also in the coming years and hopefully see change 10 years from now. These goals are designed to not only show what our members are working on for this year, but also what our priorities are to the entire Loyola community. We want the community to know that we're working on initiatives that are relevant to the student body and that can create lasting positive change on campus. These goals are created with the input of every single member of our organization and reflect the values and efforts of things already going on in the community. So we've structured our goals this year to look something like a tier system, I guess you would say. The broadest top tier is the value system, which you can see here. There's sort of more overarching areas of interest for SGLC, and as states, for the purposes of organization, they're divided into 7 groups, but we do recognize that they are going to be inherently intersectional. So they are equity, safety, wellness, sustainability, accessibility, financial accessibility, and community engagement. Our next tier below that is priorities, which you will see here in a moment with some of our other members. And they represent larger campaigns or sort of more overarching goals for our organization that we recognize might not totally get done, but we are taking small steps towards completing them at the very least. What's more important to us is that our community sees that we are working on things that are relevant to them with the hope of creating a better Loyola in the future, hopefully in the near future. Our third tier is strategies, which are the individual senators' initiatives. They're not shown on these slides, but they will be mentioned, so look out for them because our senators work really hard to have a positive impact at Loyola, and I'm sure that they would love to share their work with you. Next up, you'll hear from our Chief Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer, Taylor Thomas, on our equity value.
Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Thomas. I am a senior, double majoring in global studies and sociology, and I serve as Chief Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Officer, or CEDIO for short, of the SGLC. I want to introduce to you all one of our values across our organizational goals, and that is the value of equity. This value holds so much importance and prioritization for our organization, and that is for a few reasons. But first and foremost, because in our advocacy efforts across the university on behalf of our student body, not only do we want to recognize the diversity that exists across our student community, and not only do we want to prioritize inclusion of all of these diverse and experiences across our student body, but we also want to ensure and affirm that equity is needed in all advocacy efforts on behalf of these diverse student experiences, understanding that inequities exist in our society and are experienced by our student populations in varying degrees. So with that, we have several priorities and initiatives catered to ensuring equity across our student body and across our offices and departments that cater to student needs. All of these things cannot be done without a few key partnerships across our campus, like that of student orgs, including the Bicultural Center, or offices and departments like Student Diversity and Multicultural Affairs, or Student Activities in Greek Affairs, or the Division of Student Development as a whole, including Residence Life, or offices in the first year experience and new student programs like special populations. So with all of those key partnerships in mind, there are some priorities listed on the screen that we seek to address this year and commit to through our advocacy at large for years to come, including affinity-based campus space and resources. These initiatives underneath this priority all cater to recognizing affinity-based spaces in general and affirming their existence, celebrating their existence, and also recognizing that they have needs and they need resources to stay running for the celebration and inclusion of affinity-based communities on our campus in general. So in our advocacy, we are seeking to ensure and solidify funding for these affinity-based spaces and communities, but also physical spaces in general on our campus and other resources at large. Next, we seek to recognize and celebrate diversity on our campus, as I spoke to beforehand, but through this, we want to ensure that the university at large is doing this as well. And that means establishing university-wide celebrations of Heritage Months, ensuring that Heritage Months are on the university calendar, like that of Latinx Heritage Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, Black History Month, etc., etc. There are so many celebrations of diversity that happen all across the world, and our students are bringing that to the table and to their experiences on campus, and the university has to affirm and recognize that as well. And that is what we're seeking to do this year in all of our advocacy efforts too. Next, we have the equitable allocation of the Student Activity Fund. And with this, we want to ensure that funding is distributed equitably, in noticing that different organizations and different student populations have needs and cater to different needs with all of their different events and activities, and we want to ensure that the funding they receive is distributed equitably as well, to ensure that those who have specific needs are getting funding that meets those needs in the fairest and justice-oriented way possible. Next, something that we spoke about this summer online with the university is ensuring that international student support and advocacy exists on our campus. So many international experiences are brought onto our campus with international student experiences at the forefront. And so we want to ensure that our international student populations has the resources and the supports that they need to thrive on our campus and across our university spaces. With all this in mind, we also seek to prioritize that not only are we educated in all of these things, but that our student body is educated in all of these things as well. So we hope to prioritize providing tools, informations, and resources on our social media platforms, on our website, etc., as well as encouraging the university at large, specific departments, and organizations to also cater to providing education on all of these things, specifically on behalf of understanding diversity, equity, and inclusion, and everything that goes into that, so that we can all have an equitable approach to our advocacy and leadership in whatever we do at Loyola and beyond. I would like to also add that this priority is so important to me, not only serving as CEDIO, but as a person of color, as a Black woman, as a Black queer woman. Equity is everything to me and what I am and how I exist in this world. And with that lens, it also caters to how I show up with others, understanding that everyone has different needs and everyone's needs hold different weight to their lived and societal experiences. So I am so excited to be leading this value and this effort within our student organization and across our student body, but also across our organizations, across our organizational goals at large, like that of our value of safety, which will be introduced next by Senator Naban Rafiq.
Hi everybody, my name is Naban Rafiq. I am the chairperson of the Safety and Wellness Committee. I am a second year student here at Loyola studying psychology. Our next organizational goal is safety. At SGLC, we really want the Loyola community to feel safe, and the way we plan on doing that is by using these three priorities. The first one being policy review, by working alongside campus safety, the Dean of Students, the Black Cultural Center, as well as other student organizations on campus. We want to deeply look into the policies that the policing presence have at Loyola and to see where we can sort of make those changes to make the community feel more welcome. The next priority we have is community safety. We want to provide mediums in which the Loyola community can learn how to defend themselves, how to protect themselves. One of the plans that we have is to pick up on the initiative from last year to do a self-defense class and to have them regularly. And the last priority that we have underneath safety is communications, by using crime alert systems or just having a method of transparency between the student bodies and the policing departments here at Loyola. We feel that the student body would be more informed and more comfortable. Next up, we have our Chief Health and Wellness Officer, Rahima Siddiqui, talking about wellness.
Hi everyone, my name is Rahima Siddiqui and I serve as the Chief Health and Wellness Officer of SGLC. I'm a fourth year student majoring in Global and International Studies, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Today I'll be presenting on our third value, wellness. This year, the SGLC will advocate for inclusive and accessible physical and mental health care services in every aspect of the student experience. This will be through both the Wellness Center and partner departments across campus. Furthermore, we call on the university to adopt an embedded wellness approach that values student well-being in both social and academic settings. It's extremely important to recognize how the social, intellectual, environmental, physical, and mental health of students contributes to their academic success, and therefore we've identified these 4 main priorities. The first is to increase resources in the Wellness Center designed specifically for Black identifying students. Second, the SGLC will work towards Wellness Center resources designed and promoted for specific demographics on campus. In an era of COVID-19, it's been important to have virtual mental health care support, and therefore we'll be promoting resources available to students regardless of their geographical location this year. Lastly, we'll pursue and expand a culture of wellness across campus through something called an embedded wellness approach that exists in academics, recreation, and student organizations. I'm excited to pass the torch to our Chief Sustainability Officer, Isabel Hoyos, and she'll be presenting on our next value, sustainability.
Hello, my name is Isabel Hoyos, and I serve as Chief Sustainability Officer. I am a senior at the School of Environmental Sustainability. My majors are environmental policy and environmental science. I will be presenting our value of, no surprise, sustainability. We define it as follows. Consider the social and environmental impacts of all university decisions and SGLC initiatives and fulfill our commitment to sustainability in a more genuine way. Ensure that the potential societal and environmental harm caused by the activities done on and off campus by students, faculty, and staff is minimized. Then promote infrastructure, governance, mindsets, and actions that seek to have a positive impact on our local and global community. The priorities that we have identified as most important in helping us live out the value of sustainability are, first, environmentally and socially responsible investments, starting with those companies and industries that our university's investment portfolio has stakes in. Second, a re-envisioned food system. We think that the micro food system at Loyola should be ethical, should be local, should be healthy for both those of us who are eating it, but also those who are serving it, who are making the food, who are growing the food, and that those values are not currently reflected by the food that is provided on campus or by our current food provider. Third, waste-free LUC. We want to advocate for the waste produced on campus and off campus by student, faculty, and staff to be kept to a minimum, and that will require a wide array of different initiatives. Fourth, education on sustainability resources. Loyola has great resources and sustainability initiatives, especially at the School of Environmental Sustainability, but those are currently only accessed or mostly accessed by students of SES, and we want them to be widely available and accessible to everyone so that we can all learn how to be more environmentally and sustainability conscious citizens of the world. And fifth, green infrastructure. We want to advocate for all new university infrastructure to be built with environmental sustainability as a priority, and when possible, for the existing infrastructure to be audited and modified to be as friendly with the environment as it can be. Sustainability is very important to me. I think it's very important to all of us. I think it's a value that the entire Loyola community holds very close, and we want to be able to feel proud of what our university is doing to ensure the well-being of our planet for many generations to come. Thank you, and I will introduce our Chief Justice, Tess Mooney.
Hello everyone, I'm Tess Mooney. I'm the Chief Justice of the Student Government of Loyola University Chicago, and I am a senior in the School of Social Work. We as a student government strive to foster a sustainable environment for all students to learn, grow, and prepare to set the world on fire in. This year, we are intentionally looking at the structures and the practices that we have within our university and seeing how we can improve them to open them up to all students. This year, we are looking at our classrooms, our study spaces, and our gathering areas. We're looking into how we can make sure that all study spaces are open to students of all abilities, how we can connect professors with resources to support students through assessments and exams, whether online, in person, or a blend of both. We're looking at our spaces for student organizations to make sure that all student organizations have places to meet, to host events, and to store their supplies in. We're also looking at our residence halls to make sure that there are the support systems needed to support students and staff as we start welcoming people back on campus. We're also looking at SGLC itself. We're looking at the language within our own governing documents and legislation. We're looking at the ways that we structure and invite people for elections. And we're looking at the ways that we structure our own meetings with administration and with student representatives and organizations as well. I myself am a senior preparing for graduation and having to have made some major shifts to my own study habits, campus participation, and plans for life after graduation, all during these unprecedented times. And we want to make sure that all students know that SGLC is here for you. We're advocating for the best resources and support for students, and we're not only advocating for the needs of our current class, but we're advocating for the needs of the future classes to come. We know that we all will do our best in this time and in the years to come, and we have what it takes to meet the challenges that this year will bring. But we need to make sure that we have the accessibility that we need to reach them. And next is Ella talking about financial accessibility.
Hi everyone, my name is Ella Doyle. I am the chairperson of the Allocations Committee here in SGLC, and I am a sophomore studying political science and criminal justice. I'm here today to finish up our conversation on financial accessibility. We have begun looking at areas the university's funding could be improved, and one of those ways is through fundraising and alumni engagement. We want to focus on bringing alumni back into our university, metaphorically, of course, and engaging them. We want to focus on the everyday alumni and connect prospective and current students with former ones to open opportunities and to fundraise. This can help increase Loyola's financial accessibility as a whole. Now, initiatives that you can look forward to for the rest of this year include paper-limited classrooms, shifting the CPD scholarship to Black and BIPOC students, and watch to see us try and consistently engage with the Alumni Relations Office this year. Now I am delighted to pass it off to our Chief Communications Officer, Sal Carfagno, as he talks a little bit more about community engagement. Thank you all so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Sal Carfagno, and I'm SGLC's Chief Communications Officer. I'm a third-year student studying Healthcare Administration in the Parkinson School of Health Sciences and Public Health. My pronouns are he, him, his. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about SGLC's final value, community engagement. In community engagement, we hope to find unique ways for stakeholders within the university to interact with each other, while being safe and following all COVID-related guidelines with special consideration for programs related to voting, census participation, and civic engagement. This is important because we have a unique role within the university, and we hope to consider and leverage that role in enabling students to interact with each other and with the community. We hope to also understand the intersectional value of connecting with our community safely in one's holistic well-being. Within this value, we have two priorities, and those are to enable and sponsor virtual engagement and programming, and to encourage civic engagement. Both of these are very important as a student and as an organization. Within these priorities, we hope to do things such as work with SAGA to amend the Registered Student Organization Handbook and to enable students and organizations to obtain funding for virtual events, to host programming, and to allow for community members to interact safely. We also hope to conduct and partner programming and campaigns related to registering Ramblers to vote, getting out to vote, and completing the census. I'll now turn it over to Vice President Martin Flores for some closing remarks.
Hi everyone, my name is Martin Flores and I serve as the Vice President of the Student Government of Loyola Chicago. With that last slide, that concludes our overview of our organizational goals for 2020 and 2021. You've heard a lot from us so far, so now we want to hear from you. Let's talk about some ways that you can stay connected with SGLC. The first way is going to be our survey, and that's distributed to undergraduate students on the week of November 9th this year. The survey is a great way to weigh in on issues that directly affect students this year and help us better represent the student body at large moving forward. So keep an eye on your Loyola email that week so you can take the brief survey and make your voice heard in our process. As well, if you lead or you're part of a student organization that is working on goals that relate to any of the ones that we've outlined here, please reach out to us. We're always looking to build relationships with student organizations that truly make our campus a great place. As well, you can connect with us on social media. We're on Instagram at SG Loyola Chicago, YouTube at the Student Government of Loyola Chicago, and Facebook, actually at the same handle as Instagram, SG Loyola Chicago. And as always, you can visit our website at luc.edu/SGLC or drop us an email at sglc@luc.edu to get in touch with us and learn more.
Hi everyone, I'm Jocelyn. I'm an Associate Communications Officer for SGLC. On behalf of our organization, thank you so much for listening to our organization goals, and thank you so much to our speakers. We're so excited to continue to work for you and with you. Stay tuned for our next events and make sure to follow us on our social media for any news and updates. Also, remember to take the SGLC survey sent to your LEC email. Thanks and have a great rest of your semester.